Hello, this video is an introduction to some new features and a walkthrough for how to add some images to a map using CarGen Knitter. So here we are at cargen.org/maps, home of CarGen Knitter, and we have the map we want to work on right here. It's a map of the Gowanus Canal area in Brooklyn, New York. Click on View Map. So here's the map. There are some images already on this map. We can click over here at View All Images and see that there are about 5 images showing on the map. It's got a long title that's not formatted correctly, but there are 5 images on the map, and we can click on one of these to jump to where they are, but I can actually see them already. They're right in front of me here. And I'm going to walk through what it's like to add a few more. And this project, this particular project for the Gowanus Canal, this mapping expedition, the raw images are online at mapmill.org. And here we are on the page where the raw imagery is, and people can sort through the hundreds of raw images and actually rank them and get the sharp, high altitude, vertical angle, crisp images voted to the top. And so those images can be chosen from the top of the heap and added to the map. And I've actually downloaded a couple of them locally, and now we're going to go through adding them to the map. So here we are back in Knitter, and we're on this page for the Gowanus Canal. And these images that are already in here, as you see, I clicked on that image and the image toolbar appeared. And these images that are already in here have been locked, so I probably won't move them on accident. If you do make a mistake, you have an undo button right here. But for the most part, you can feel very free and sort of learning how to use this tool without disrupting existing work. So I clicked away from the image, and the sort of lock status symbols went away. So now it's like there's no image selected. And I'm going to come up over here to add new image. And I'm going to need to choose one that I have saved locally on the desktop. It's going to upload. It's going to just take a few seconds. As soon as it comes on the screen, the distort tool is going to be activated, and I am going to start the process of moving the image overlay into place. And we're going to start with rotate and rescale, and then when we're finished with that tool, we're going to use distort for kind of the fine-tuning, fine adjustment. Any second now. I think the image that I added is for a large warehouse slash alley that's on the bottom of the screen here. And it's somewhat vertical, and there is distortion on the outside of the image, but we can see the ground in all parts of the image, and the ground is visible in this base data layer. So I can ignore the vertical objects and just correct the ground level in all parts of the image when I am registering it on top of the base data in this overlay kind of fashion here. Okay, and now our image has just appeared on the screen. Here it is, and distort is active. I just backed up a tiny bit to just visually take a look at the scene, and there it is. It just needs to move a little bit southwest there, so I'm going to come back in. I'm going to move my map viewer. Right now I click away from the image overlays on the base map and to move the map viewer to kind of set that up where I want it. And now I'm going to move the image in place by clicking on the middle of it and moving it. I'm not using the distort tool by just clicking on the middle of the image. So now I'm going to come over here to rotate and rescale because that's what I always do before distort. And we're going to come in a little closer. Now, part of some of the new features here are really fast hotkeys, or at the top of the screen there is a toolbar, and you can toggle transparency, just like that, or an image outline, which basically toggles the image just so you can see the base data behind it. One nice thing about this tool is that your XY is preserved. So I can let go of my click like I did right there, almost on accident. I lost tracking with my mouse, and I don't lose any work. So I'm just kind of playing about here, and I'm making it scale up, but I haven't made my final decision yet. I'm looking through the image, and I'm kind of comparing these similar features in the base layer from the active layer, the overlay image layer, and pretty soon here I'm gonna be happy with it. It's okay to have some distortion way off in the perimeter at this point because we have not gotten to distort yet. So this is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. So I'm going to be done with it. I'm going to go over the distort tool. So now there our circles are now dark, and I'm going to start over here in the northeast because I think that's the one that's going to be furthest off. I'm coming in a little bit more on the zoom. Okay, there we are. I'm dragging that corner, and I can actually see the drain on the far side of the street. So that's a nice solid landmark that I can line up there. There it goes. Okay, it's on. That drain is on. So I'm going to come over here to the northwest and just kind of have a look. So there's a visible sewer, some type of pipe in the canal itself that I'm looking at. It's near the corner. Some debris in the water that I think I misclicked. Okay, getting back to our image here. Now I'm looking over at the southwest, and I just lined up the far shoreline. My roof is not in place everywhere, which is okay because the roof is above ground level. And as I look back to the ground level on now the center of the image, bringing that into focus. So we just zoomed in tighter, and we are still looking, we've kind of started over in the northeast, but it actually moved, which is something to be expected. We kind of move in a circular pattern. We went northwest, southwest. I'm looking at the south right now. I'm looking at this the visible markings on this patio or pavement area are going to be something that we can use. I'm going to toggle my transparency by hitting the letter T. Ignore the cars because the cars are parked in different locations from the base map. Sometimes they're in the same spot, but sometimes they're not. I guess you can find out who's not using their vehicle that way, but it's not anything you can rely on. So I'm looking at permanent things like visible markings in the vegetation and the pavement and the buildings and things like that. Okay, now I'm coming back to the northeast because it got moved a tiny bit. Now it's right back on. And we are close to done here. Tighten that up a tiny bit. That's pretty good. We are like dead on in most of the image, and there are tiny parts of the image where we are deviating a little bit, but those parts could be just overlaid with an adjacent image. So I'm very happy with this. So I'm going to hit T and take away the transparency, and there it is. There's a updated section of the um, neighborhood here in Brooklyn. So I'm going to hit the lock, and boom, it's locked. All four corners are now X's. And I'm going to back out just a tiny bit. Compare the work with the other work around here. The ordering system is fairly simple. You can just click on one if you want it to be above that one. Right now, I want this one on top. So there you have it. And when you're done, or at any point if you want, you can click over here at the export tool and get the map out of there. And there's different places you can host a map. You can host it on your own website, but you're welcome to host it on the public laboratory website. And we have this map archive page, and we can help you out getting it set up for the first time. But you have these map tools for sorting raw aerial imagery, stitching it, and or processing it, or registering it, whatever verb you want to use onto a map, and hosting the data. Thank you very much.